Understanding this model. Hey, excuse me, lady. Who do you think you are? A queen?
Hey, haven't you heard? Get Airtel Chillax bundles and browse like a queen.
Get Airtel Chillax bundles that do not expire and browse like a queen or king. Dial *175# or use My Airtel app. Airtel, the smartphone network.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we learn, because it's those things that bring us close together.
A very warm welcome to UBC News tonight. It is the 16th day of June 2021. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto and Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language. Now this evening, President Yoweri Museveni and his counterpart Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo have this afternoon witnessed the groundbreaking ceremony of the construction of road infrastructure between the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Republic of Uganda. The ceremony, attended by the two heads of state, took place at Mpondwe, Bwera and Lubiriha in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Now, all right, we give a space to Mzee Seven. We give a space to Mzee.
Okay. Ah, yes. Okay. Alors, le chargé d'affaires, ça va? Education.
Wabukire.
Mheshimiwa Excellence
Excellence, le président de la République du Congo, démocratique Congo, et votre délégation d'extérieur,
I welcome you here
je vous accueille ici,
in Pondwe.
en Pondwe.
That side is Kasini.
De l'autre côté, c'est Cassini.
Today,
Aujourd'hui,
we have discussed many things,
nous avons discuté beaucoup de choses,
but we are in a hurry because we must go on the other side to break the ground.
parce que nous allons traverser la frontière pour ouvrir, lancer l'opération.
I'm very happy about the road project.
Je suis très heureux de ce projet, le projet routier
Which we have discussed in detail,
que nous avons discuté en détail,
but also the issue of security in the region.
mais aussi nous avons discuté la question de la sécurité dans la région.
So I welcome you to greet our people here.
Je
Then we go to the other side.
vous accueille, Excellence, de vous adresser à votre population pour que nous puissions traverser.
Watoto wa Pongwe amjambo. Watoto wa Kasindi amjambo. Voilà, moi je vais parler en français
I won't speak in French.
pour d'abord remercier mon aîné, le président Yoweri Museveni,
To thank very, very much my elder brother, Mr. Museveni,
pour son accueil chaleureux, mais également pour
for his
tous les
very warm
sujets abordés lors de notre entretien.
and all the very important subjects we were able to discuss in our meeting.
J'aimerais dire aussi,
I also
lui
wish
exprimer aussi toutes mes félicitations
to congratulate very much
parce que, à tout seigneur, tout honneur, cette initiative de la construction de cette route vient de lui.
great initiative on this route. It has come from him, and I'd like to congratulate him on this great initiative.
Je partage parfaitement
I perfectly
son
share
initiative
his initiative
parce qu'elle entre dans le cadre de ce qu'est ma vision sur l'intégration africaine.
into my own idea of the integration of the country.
J'ai toujours dit que plutôt que de vivre en se regardant comme des ennemis avec nos frères, avec nos voisins,
Instead of looking at each other as neighbors, but in terms of enemies or not friendly people,
au lieu de construire des murs entre nous,
instead of building walls between ourselves,
il vaut mieux construire des ponts.
it is better to build bridges.
Et cette initiative
And
est
this
vraiment
initiative is indeed
un exemple de ce que nous devons multiplier comme échange entre nos pays et entre nos peuples.
of what we must continue to produce between our two countries and between our people. This initiative is a great one.
Voilà, Monsieur le Président,
That is it, His Excellency the President.
en peu de mots, ce que je voulais vous exprimer.
In a few words, what I wish to speak to you, what I wish to say.
Et maintenant, je suis à votre disposition pour aller ensemble inaugurer ce chef-d'œuvre.
And now I'm at
The COVID-19 period has greatly affected the African child morally, economically, and has affected their education. However, the day is celebrated to empower the African child despite the challenges. Today, the day is running under the theme 30 years after the adoption of the Charter, accelerate implementation of the Africa Agenda 2040 for an Africa fit for children. Our reporter Sudat Kaye filed this report.
The reason why we the children of Africa celebrate this day is because during the 1976 uprising in the Soweto, African children like us were denied good education, we were denied good medication, and we were denied our rights.
A serious interception and commitment towards addressing the numerous challenges faced by the African child has been highlighted as a way of ending these injustices. The commemoration of the day has called on local governments, international institutions, civil society organizations and development partners to consolidate their efforts in addressing obstacles faced by the African child.
We lack pads. It's also another challenge. A parent cannot afford to buy such materials like pads every day. He or she assumes buying pads every now and then, it costs him a lot. The money which has to be that has to be provided for buying food, the parent cannot afford to buy pads, so it resulting to that. To add on that, we get engaged with sugar daddies, whereby someone can buy me pads every now and then, someone can buy me food, so I get myself finding myself getting what? Married.
Chanwat Kevin, an advocate of the African child, says the ratification of the African Charter on the rights and welfare of the child to undertake measures affecting the provisions of the Charter are clearly elaborated. However, Plan International and Uganda Youth Advocacy and Development Network Uganda have complemented government efforts of improving the infrastructure development, especially education.
We, the African children, were denied quick access to education, good quality education. We are denied access to good medication, which resulted into the apartheid policy, as we all know that. Why is this day celebrated? It provides for us platform to discuss different issues with the government, civil society, different organizations.
The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly affected the African child, with a rising cases of child abuse in homes and communities. In 2020, 14,000 defilement cases were recorded by Uganda police. The pandemic has also led to an increase in school dropouts, low education attainment, child marriages, among others.
I think the government should set up laws like educating the children during this COVID period, like through skilling, for example, training them how to make up urban farmings, digging in a small space, teaching them how to plait people's hair, like hairdressing.
Challenges: we have child labor, children overwork forced by the parents. We have early pregnancy, results from rape.
The registration of every child at birth and their vital statistics has been recommended to be free and compulsory for all children in Uganda. Plan Uganda and Youth Advocacy and Development Network through youth advocates have called for child protection against violence, exploitation, neglect and abuse. Government has also been urged to support development partners in reviewing laws and policies in justice and law.
Educate and create awareness to these children. Let them try to educate them about their rights, about the available laws, so that in whatever they are doing, they are aware. If I'm doing this, I'm supported by this law. If I'm taking this step ahead, this law supports me. I'm free to do this. This is my right. I'm not supposed to do this.
The Day of the African Child provides an opportunity for governments, Plan Uganda and Youth Advocacy and Development Network Uganda to improve the plight of the marginalized children. Sudat Kaye, UBC.
More appointed and vetted ministers have pledged improved service delivery as the new leadership term takes course. State Minister for Fisheries Helen Ador expressed readiness to carry on with streamlining the fisheries sector for Uganda's economic benefit. She was vetted alongside General Katumba Wamala, Bright Ramirama, Jennifer Namiyangu and Oleru Huda Abson, among others. Our senior reporter Henry Okarut with the report.
Time check was 8 a.m. when Deputy Speaker of Parliament Anita Among Annette arrived at the House. Her early morning appearance was a clear indication that there was more work to do on the vetting of new ministers. One by one, they trickled in, ready to face the Parliamentary Appointments Committee to speak to their CVs and justify their appointments as ministers and state ministers. Helen Adowa, nominated to retain the fisheries docket in the Ministry of Agriculture, was one of them.
And one of the things we are going to handle now this term in the office is to make sure that we complete the registration of all the vessels in the lake so that we know that every lake, this is the recommended number. For example, Lake Kyoga is supposed to have 11,000 boats. But you cannot believe, before the unit was put in, there were over 37,000 boats. Having more boats than even the fish you have in the lake was terrible.
Speaking shortly after appearing before the committee, Adowa cited the fisheries sector as an economic capacity for Uganda to pride in.
Fisheries can bring money more than coffee, can bring money more than oil, can bring money to our country, especially now during this epidemic. Lakes have the resource, God-given resource, that can change Uganda.
Her colleague nominees in the Agriculture Ministry expressed similar optimism. Bright Rwamirama and Fred Wino Chakulaga want to see vibrancy in crop and animal farming.
And also research on tick vaccine has also advanced. So we believe by June next year, we shall be producing our own FMD vaccine, our own tick vaccine, and swine fever vaccine.
The output of my ministry should be the transformation of the household. We have about 7 million households. So far, that ministry has reached out to about 900,000 households only. So I have a big task ahead.
In the Defense and Veteran Affairs docket, vetted ministers pledge more discipline in the forces. Oler Huda Abason looks forward to concluding the UPDF amendment bill.
My first issue is to see that that bill has to be passed into the law so that we use the law to work out on how to help the veterans to sort out their issues of pension, their welfare.
I think that Ugandans should give us time. We are all new team players going in there to streamline the issue of the LDUs, whether it's a command structure, whether we need to streamline a few things. I think that's work.
Others who have been vetted include Ongalo Obote, Jennifer Namuyangu, Jackson Kafuzi, and General Katumba Wamala, among others.
I was supportive of us increasing money for the districts to improve on the district road network. So there wasn't much which the committee asked me about. The papers, they were all in order, so I didn't have any issues there.
Honorable Nabanja is a Mnyoro. She can be Minister of State for Banyoro and I become the Prime Minister. Or Honorable Matia Kasaja can be Minister for Bunyoro since he's a Mnyoro and I become the Minister of Finance. And I laughed it off and we agreed to move together.
The vetting process continues on Thursday. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, Kabale district in western Uganda has lost 10 people in just 1 week to COVID-19, according to medical reports and political leaders from the district. Members of Parliament for Kabale municipality, Dr. Nicholas Kamara, confirms the situation is alarming as people who need oxygen keep increasing. Take a look at the details.
The second wave of COVID-19 continues to cause more deaths in different regions as more people get infected with the virus.
I don't want to go back to the details of COVID, but in short, this is a respiratory disease. It affects the breathing system of the person. In affecting the breathing system, it also ends up affecting the whole body. So the way you get it is through breathing, So it is through breathing, the air which somebody has breathed from one person to another. It is through touching, such that can go to touching areas, surfaces where it is, and then you can spread it to by touching mucous membranes. But as scientists, we know that's actually not a very big way of spread. The biggest spread is the person to person through breathing.
In Kabale district, 10 people have lost lives to COVID-19 just in 1 week.
Second, the patients who need oxygen are much more. I called the Kabale hospital, and they said last time we had like 10 patients who needed oxygen. But now there are much more people who need oxygen, and people are severely sick. And actually, as I talk now, we have lost very prominent people in Kabale due to COVID. We lost the former MP, Honorable Manzito Mubwine. We lost a very big engineer, Mr. Nkurununji. We lost the former chairperson of Kabale district, Mr. Patrick Besije Kihwa. And this morning I got reports that so far, in 1 week, we have lost 10 people in Kabale hospital.
Dr. Nicholas Kamara, a member of parliament for Kabale municipality, has however appealed the public to be calm and follow the standard operating procedures.
But some people are taking it very lightly. I want people to be at home as much as possible. There is no reason why you should leave your home when you have no business you are going to do. If you have your food, you have gone to the garden and you have cooked your food, just go home and be there. There is no reason of attending a funeral. There is no reason now of attending a party. Parties will always be here, but life, we have one life to live. There is no reason of not following what they are telling. There is no reason of not being vaccinated. Let us be vaccinated. This vaccine has been tested. It is safe. And myself, I've taken it. Actually, I took it publicly in Kabale Hospital. Let us go for vaccination. People being anxious will make matters worse. Let us not be anxious. Let us help each other. We have phones, that's a good thing. Let us call each other, but don't visit. Don't go and visit relatives that you are now comforting them because they have lost a person. This is not the time.
Dr. Kamara has warned the population against assuming that they have contracted COVID without testing.
Let no one assume they have corona when they have not tested, please. When you get flu symptoms, headache, I get many calls. And people say, oh, I think the way I'm feeling, the way I am having, this is corona, no doubt. No, please. There is no symptom that is very specific for corona. You may have malaria. A friend almost died recently because they had malaria. And when they tested, they didn't have corona, but they had malaria, +3. And now they are okay. So there is no way you can go home and say, now because I was exposed, what? Now I have, no, please. The first thing you do is tests.
Self-medication is also another challenge doctors are warning against.
Once you find that it is positive, follow what your doctor is saying or your health worker. Don't treat yourself. Don't go to the pharmacy and buy drugs. You don't know these drugs, and you don't know whether it is mild or moderate or severe. Don't go and treat yourself. And even among the elite, people are treating themselves. It is very dangerous. These drugs are poisons. You are going to overdose yourself and then be sick of, you find that you need the kidney transplant in the future.
Still in Western Uganda, Mundibujo district leaders are concerned about the refugees crossing from neighboring districts.
COVID is too much in Congo than in Uganda, and these refugees are entering Uganda using porous routes, the legal routes, and they are not being tested, neither are they being registered. So unless leaders, local leaders on the ground, and some of us, unless we become vigilant enough to ensure that we mobilize them to go to one place, like we have done it, that the refugees who are entering Uganda through these porous routes should directly go to the transit camp.
At house level, parents and guardians have been advised to ensure that their families are protected.
Minimize movements. In our villages, there is a big problem of free range. Now that the children are out of schools, you will find there is no control. You will find that these children are moving a lot to see their aunties, their uncles, their what. This one must be minimized. This one must be stopped.
The second wave of COVID-19 has caused more deaths and infections, with the test positivity rate now at 21.5%. Adiana Kute, UBC.
Two COVID-19 patients who were admitted at Arua COVID-19 Isolation Treatment Center have escaped from the treatment unit. COVID-19 monitoring teams and community members are working closely to have them arrested and returned to the Isolation Treatment Center. This was disclosed by West Nile Regional Officer in charge of special coverage on the second wave of COVID-19, Christopher Dradiku, during a meeting of Arua City COVID-19 Task Force.
The in-charge West Nile Region COVID-19 Task Force, Christopher Dradiku, presented a report at Arua Hospital which indicated that two COVID-19 patients escaped from the COVID-19 Isolation Treatment Center. Dradiku said the two escaped on Friday evening last week because of scarcity of food supplements at the treatment center.
You may ask why? Because of hunger. Food, hunger. There's no food. So they chose to go and probably die of COVID, but not die of hunger.
The hospital management attributed the incident to inadequate security at the hospital that has been worsened by the disappearance of government ambulance reported to have been stolen.
Now, we were experiencing a lot of unnecessary movements, including even theft of properties in the treatment center. And our askari, the gate men and the women are short in numbers, and some of them, as you are aware, they are not working actively because of the earlier saga of the ambulance. They are still under investigation, so their number has lessened, and they cannot provide enough security to all the sites.
Resident City Commissioner of Arua City, Martin Orochi, who chairs the task force, called for an immediate response by police to boost security around the COVID-19 treatment unit.
The hospital needed actually a whole post, like a police post, which I think the hospital administration need to take up the method of acquiring a police post to curtail some of these things. But this one of the task force, I think our resolution is we should request police to deploy during the day and also during the night, depending on their need, because this is immediate.
For 3 months of second wave of COVID-19 pandemic, death toll at Arua Hospital has surpassed the death toll during the first wave. By Tuesday, the hospital had registered a cumulative 19 deaths from last year, in which 8 deaths were in 2020 and 11 in the current second wave.
11 cases admitted so far since last year. Actively now, there are 26. 4 are very serious, and 9 are severe out of the total of 26.
Members of Parliament from West Nile region want the Ministry of Health to urgently avail COVID-19 rapid testing kits. According to the leaders, children who returned from school need to be tested for COVID-19 to ascertain their health status as regard to COVID-19.
The level of COVID-19 spread during this second wave has continued to create fear and anxiety. Political leaders from West Nile region now want the Ministry of Health to avail rapid testing kits in the region to test children who have just returned from schools.
The region urgently needs testing kits. Students went back to their homes.
Those students have not been tested, and as we speak now, many people are dying. We have lost so many other people. Today, as we speak, the district agricultural officer of Arua is being buried. There are so many people infected. The intensive care unit facility is running with a lot of challenges.
As West Nile region continues to battle with the devastating COVID-19 pandemic, shortage of electricity has also set in, making the situation difficult, especially for health facilities to operate.
Our regional referral hospital is undergoing a lot of load shedding. As we speak now, there are issues between Wenreco and Electromax that are supposed to supply electricity. Electromax is running, the installed capacity is 8 megawatts, but the supply now is 4 megawatts. Wenreco is also getting electricity from Nyagak that is generating only 3.5. I am sure the supply is less than that. So that means the whole region is running on less than 8 megawatts of electricity. In this crisis, the hospitals need full-time electricity.
Leaders in West Nile region have, however, appealed the masses to follow COVID-19 preventive measures.
To keep home. If you have nothing to do out there, please stay home. This is an emergency, because everybody has to play a role. As government, we are demanding government to play its part of the role. The communities should also play their part of role, being responsible. Stay home. If you have anything to do out there, social distance, observe the SOPs, put on your mask all the time. It is now mandatory. You have no excuse to remove the mask at whatever time. The situation is getting out of hands. Everybody must own up the responsibilities.
Local government authorities in West Nile have been asked to ensure that COVID-19 messages reach to the grassroots people.
To educate those who don't even know that corona exists, our fight at the top level will still be at vain. I therefore appeal to the community, even the local leaders at the district local government level, to at least reach to the grassroots level and to educate those people that the work we do communally has a lot of impact on this very coronavirus. We should adjust our ways of doing community work.
Adiana Kuti, UBC.
Moroto Regional Referral Hospital has built capabilities to handle more COVID-19 emergency cases from neighboring districts of Karamoja sub-region. According to the district health officer for Moroto, Dr. Hans Lokale, Moroto Referral Hospital has received several calls from sister districts of Mbale and Soroti to help them over COVID-19 patients in the intensive care unit sector.
Moroto District Regional Referral Hospital Management has allowed other districts like Mbale and Soroti to refer the patients with COVID-19 in critical condition to Moroto. During a COVID-19 meeting at Moroto District head offices, the District Health Officer Moroto, Dr. Hans Lokale, revealed that Moroto still has space that can accommodate more patients in the intensive care unit.
They called me and said, "Do you have space?" I told them, "Yes, there is space in our CTU." So that's the challenge now, because we need to accept other people. These services are for all Ugandans. So if you see ambulances coming in, don't get worried. Don't say we are giving out our spaces to other people. They are all Ugandans.
In Moroto District, about 1,925 people with COVID-19 have been admitted in the ICU. 6 are on oxygen, 19 in moderate conditions, and 48 on home-based treatment.
Psychosocial support. It's not basically going to be offered by anyone. So we need people who are trained to go and offer this support. So that's what we are working on now. We have very few health workers, and we have to see how to serve everyone. We have health workers testing positive. That means our numbers keep reducing. So of course we are also running out of some of these supplies. For example, the disposable gloves, the masks for the health workers. We need to protect them, so the health workers need these PPEs, and our biggest shot is that making sure these health workers are protected so that they serve.
The Deputy RDC Moroto, Jacob Jonga, has urged development partners operating within Moroto and those having offices within to obey the presidential directive to curb the spread of COVID-19.
Means that movement beyond this district is not allowed.
do there must be in line with COVID-19. If you are going to Kotido to do something on COVID-19, people say we have these 300 masks we are going to give to our clients or beneficiaries in Kotido. We can allow them to go. For that particular purpose, the letter.
As COVID-19 patients across the country grasp for oxygen, critical care experts at ICU units now recommend prone position for patients to bring up their oxygen levels. Prone positioning for COVID-19 patients is the placement of patients in a prone position so that they are lying on their stomach. This keeps the alveolar units open and makes breathing easier. Our health reporter Zahara Abigaba finds out more about pruning, its benefits and how it can save lives at a time when liquid oxygen supply and shortage has emerged as one of the major flashpoints between national referral hospitals and private care system.
As the second wave of COVID-19 sweeps through the country with deadly consequences, critical care experts, doctors have started advocating pruning exercise to improve oxygen levels in COVID-19 patients, both in isolation as well as in hospitals. Medical experts say that prune improves breathing comfort and oxygenation that is extremely beneficial for COVID-19 patients with compromised breathing, especially during home isolation. Dr. Bruce Kirenga, the head of Lung Institute, explains what prune means.
People who have COVID should endeavor to sleep on their stomach. Our lungs are made of air sacs. Now, when you sleep on your back, the air sacs at the back collapse. The ones at the top distend. Now, these air sacs, the alveolars, they're actually like balloons, living balloons. When it is too distended, it won't work. When it is collapsed, it won't work. So we have found actually that if you sleep on your stomach, especially when you put a pillow, lower part of the chest and maybe the pelvis, open up the air sacs at the back which had collapsed, but the ones which were already over distended at the front, they now collapse a bit and you balance and you oxygenate better.
Dennis Butera, critical care expert at Mulago Intensive Care Unit, demonstrates how pruning position is done, especially for COVID-19 patients at home.
You do your legs like this, you bend down. The idea of this is most of our lung is down. The bigger part of our lung is down. And that's where the virus goes and attack. It begins to attack down, come upward. Now, lie down like this. Is that okay? That is the position one can attain at home. Or the other hand can be like this with the pillow with support. You sleep in this position. But this position may not be comfortable with people who are obese.
Medically, doctors suggest that a patient remain prone for a minimum of 30 minutes to the maximum of 2 hours. This helps improve ventilation to the lungs, hence oxygen levels start improving.
You can take a routine. 2 hours on your stomach, 1 hour left, we call it left lateral, okay? Now you have the comfort, your default 2 hours on your back, 1 hour left lateral, and now come back. Now you can do the mathematics. How many hours will you have on your stomach? I don't want to examine you. So at the end of the day, you will have several hours sleeping on your stomach and it will not become boring. But what we see is, especially when people are weak, they just sleep on their back the entire day.
Experts say that the position can also be applied on children at home, especially those battling with COVID-19. Medics still appeal to the general public to strictly follow the guidelines by the Ministry of Health and also observe the standard operating procedures to curb on the spread of the deadly virus. Zahara Abigaba, UBC.
All right, now we take you back to our headlining story of the night, where President Yoweri Museveni and his counterpart, President Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo, have commissioned the groundbreaking of a road infrastructure between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo at the Uganda-Congo border of Mpondwe Kasindi in Kasese district, at the invitation of His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. President Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo led a delegation comprised of His Excellency Alexis Gisaro Muvunyi, Senior Minister for Infrastructure and Public Works, and Lieutenant General Ndima Nkongba Constant, Governor of North Kivu Province, as well as other senior government officials, to the groundbreaking ceremony of the road infrastructure in Mpondwe in Kasese district in the Republic of Uganda and Kasindi in North Kivu Province in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, the two heads of state exchanged views on bilateral, regional and international issues on mutual interest. They reiterated their commitment to promoting trade, investment and common infrastructure, as well as deepening integration among the people of the African continent. Take a look.
It was a busy Wednesday at the Mpondwe border between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo as the two countries launched major infrastructure projects. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda was the first to arrive at noon and welcomed his counterpart from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, who arrived later. These received a guard of honor from the Ugandan security forces alongside cheers from locals of both countries who gathered to witness the event as the two presidents launched the two projects. President Museveni and Tshisekedi first launched Mpondwe Bridge, which connects Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo at Mpondwe Trading Center in Kasese. The critical Mpondwe Bridge, which runs over River Rubiriha at the Uganda-Congo border, was constructed by the government of Uganda to replace the old Bailey Bridge, which was deemed unsafe for the heavy traffic between the two countries of Uganda and Congo. The launch of the bridge was part of a comprehensive program that included the groundbreaking of roads that will be constructed in the DRC by the Ugandan government. The groundbreaking ceremony to construct up to 223 kilometers of road network took place inside the DRC.
Sous les acclamations de l'assistance.
The two presidents said the projects will go a long way in growing trade between the two nations.
So, I'm very happy about the road project.
Je suis très heureux que ce projet routier
which we have discussed in detail,
que nous avons discuté en détail,
but also the issue of security in the region.
Mais aussi nous avons discuté la question de la sécurité dans la région.
Museveni thanked President Tshisekedi for bringing the Democratic Republic of Congo into the East African community and pledged more support. To President Tshisekedi, the brotherhood is an important gift for the two countries to cement their bilateral relations, including strengthening security.
J'ai toujours dit que plutôt que de vivre en se regardant comme des ennemis avec nos frères, avec nos voisins,
Instead of looking at each other as neighbors, but in terms of enemies or not friendly people,
au lieu de construire des murs entre nous,
instead of building walls between ourselves,
il vaut mieux construire des ponts.
it is better to build bridges.
DRC is Uganda's second biggest regional trade partner after Kenya, and it is envisioned that fixing DRC roads will improve mobility, security, and boost trade and investment between the two countries of Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Bernard Higa, UBC News at Impondo, Uganda-Congo border, Kasese.
Well, welcome back, Bernard Yiga from my home district. But UBC News Tonight takes a short breather, but we will return with more news items.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. No matter the size of your dream, tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go. MTN.
COVID-19 chija kugwa. If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear a mask properly, sanitize, wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
In efforts to improve quality assurance and Uganda's competitiveness as a tourist destination, Uganda Tourism Board is set to undertake a nationwide grading and classification exercise of hotel and accommodation facilities. As a member of the East African community, Uganda subscribes to the East African Grading and Classification Criteria, a system denoted by stars ranging from 1 to 5. The grading and classification exercise will be crowned by the awarding of star ratings to facilities found compliant to the EAC minimum standards. This is therefore a call to all accommodation and facility owners and managers to register and get licensed by UTB as a requirement and get ready for participation. For more information, visit www.utb.go.ug or email qualityassurance@utb.go.ug for details. Uganda Tourism Board, promoting tourism together.
Therefore, understanding this model. Hey, excuse me, lady. Who do you think you are? A queen?
Hey, haven't you heard? Get Airtel Chillax bundles and browse like a queen.
Get Airtel Chillax bundles that do not expire and browse like a queen or king. Dial *175# or use My Airtel app. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC News Tonight. I'm Lorene Masika Kazimoto, and Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language. Now moving on, the civil society organizations want government to set aside a supplementary budget to facilitate the production and access to oxygen for COVID-19 patients. The call follows reports of the cutthroat prices tagged on the accessibility to medical oxygen by COVID-19 patients. They propose that government initiates a public-private partnership with local manufacturers of oxygen by availing grants to boost production and accessibility.
In the wake of the second wave of COVID-19, Uganda's health sector, just like elsewhere, was still nursing bruises of the harsh effects of the first wave of the pandemic. In less than a month, available reports show that the health sector continues to suffocate on surging numbers of patients, giving way for increased inadequacies in key medical supplies like ICU services. This wave has also exposed scarcity in access to medical oxygen in most health centers countrywide, with patients said to part with fortunes to catch a glimpse of the life-saving resource.
We see that private health facilities and companies are more preoccupied with profit margins, and that is really getting families into catastrophic health expenditures, as we can all see. And some of us could have had family members that have gone through that.
In anticipation of a worse scenario, civil society organizations want government to increase production and supply of oxygen for all those in need.
We would like to see protection of patients and families by regulating costs of oxygen therapy, related tools and equipment that are going out of hand and the population being exploited.
Also calling upon government to waive completely all oxygen tariffs, so that whoever can provide oxygen can bring it in free of charge, so that we save lives.
In their view, government should initiate a public-private partnership with local manufacturers to boost production that will in return increase accessibility and affordability.
I've also learned that the Army has started providing oxygen. How much is the Army providing? And how soon can it concentrate the whole country of this oxygen so that we stop losing people? Can government provide a supplementary grant and grant to the organizations or the manufacturers who have been developing or making medical oxygen?
Meanwhile, the Executive Director, Action Group for Health, Human Rights and HIV/AIDS, AGA, Flavia Chomukama, appeals to the State House Anti-Corruption Unit head, Kano Nakalema, to weigh in and protect Ugandans against what she terms the high cost of health services in private facilities.
Nakalema, she went to the tax park and made sure the government offered buses to take people back home at a subsidized cost. Can Afande Nakalema go to the hospitals or try to regulate the amount of money we are paying in these hospitals? It's as if you are leaving us at the mercy of business sciences for health, people who have started hospitals.
Recently, government pledged to enact the National Scale-Up of Medical Oxygen Implementation Plan of 2018-2022 to address availability, accessibility, and quality of oxygen therapy. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Now, different mourners have described late Kajabago Karusoke as a humble, patriotic and great thinker and an ideologist. Now, speaker after speaker, Karusoke has been described as a revolutionary pillar. Minister for Tourism designate Colonel Tom Butime, who was chief mourner during the public viewing of Kajabago, hailed him for his courageous efforts. Professor Mwine Rutanga, one of Karusoke's friends, described him as one of the most passionate writers and mentors. Kajabago Karusoke has served in different positions, including lecturing and mentorship at Chankwanzi Leadership Institute.
Alex Ruhunda was telling us he took him to a radio station, and the radio station was Christian. And he said this, interestingly, again scratching the brains of people. He said, this man Jesus was not a good man. How could he go on with somebody's wife? And imagine you're on air, you're on somebody's radio. The radio station went bizarre because it's a Christian radio station, they couldn't understand.
When the late was brought in office of the president, he was brought as a senior presidential advisor, ideological orientation. Now for us, we thought that he's a mere senior presidential advisor like any other. We just go on the payroll of Ministry of Public Service and we gave him the money according to the structure of Ministry of Public Service. Then the late came and asked me, so how much have you put in my contract? I told him, and this is according to the law. He kept quiet. He said, anyway, I will discuss with my boss.
I read every article which Kajabagu Karsoke wrote. Every article published in the paper. And every time I could see a bit of deviation, I would call him and tell him, but that paragraph is now debatable, isn't it? That's when he published the other paragraph and he made a comment on biological substances. Then I told him, then you must have escorts, because if you call people biological substances, you are hurting other people. You must keep bodyguards, isn't it?
Now, today is the 16th day of June 2021, but let's take a look at what happened on this day back in history.
Today in history.
Like every year on 16th June, the African Union and its member states observe the Day of the African Child as a commemoration of the student uprising in Soweto, South Africa. It was on this day in history that over 700 students were brutally murdered in protest against apartheid into the then education system in Soweto. The Day of the African Child has been celebrated on June 16th every year since 1991, when it was first initiated by the Organization of African Unity, OAU, and it honors those who participated in the Soweto uprising in 1976.
Has anyone seen Bob?
Over here!
How did you get in there?
With my Airtel Money MasterCard.
But you don't even have a bank account.
Well, it's not a card. It's virtual, so no plastic, and it's safer.
But what are you doing there?
I want to buy Nancy a birthday gift, book my flight tickets, renew my Big Click subscription, and order a shipment.
The Airtel Money MasterCard. It's not a card, but works just like one. Get one on the Airtel Money menu on your phone.
Introducing to you the Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Mbarara University of Science and Technology. We run academic programs designed to create an interface between academics, industry, and the community. We aim at offering hands-on learning experience and skills that suit continuous evolving societal needs. Join the Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies today for undergraduate training in Bachelor of Science in Planning and Community Development, Bachelor of Science in Gender and Applied Women Health, and Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Livelihoods and Farm Production. For postgraduate programs, we offer Master of Arts in Planning and Governance, Master of Arts in Development Studies, Master of Arts in Peace and Conflict Studies, Postgraduate Diploma in Criminology, and PhD in Development Studies. For inquiries, please contact us through our email dean.fis@mass.ac.ug or admissions@mass.ac.ug, or you can call the Dean directly on 0782827777 or 0701778699. Electronic applications are also available on our website, applications.mass.ac.ug. Succeed we must.
Welcome back. Now into business news. Consortium of abattoirs in Kampala say the ban on consumption of beef and cattle from Mbarara and the neighboring districts of Chiruhura, among others, will not in any way affect their sales of beef and influx of cows to the abattoirs. According to the chairman, City Abattoir Kampala, Haji Sechewama Muhammad, most of their cattle is not from the districts affected with foot and mouth disease, but he was quick at acknowledging that COVID-19 has affected the daily sales of beef. Our reporter Jane Nyiramugisha has more.
The Minister of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry last evening imposed a ban on the sale of cows and beef consumption from the districts of Mbarara and neighboring Chiruhura district, whose livestock is infected with foot and mouth disease, pending a government solution to address the problem. Of late, the cattle corridor has also been attacked with a Rift Valley fever, another strain disease, claiming lives of cattle. While abattoirs and consumers of beef and other dairy products in the mid-western districts of Mbarara, Chiruhura and Tungamo and Ibanda are crying foul, city abattoirs in Kampala say the ban in any way will not affect their sales and external exports of beef. Majority of the livestock ferried into Kampala are imported from the districts of Chankwanzi, Chiboga, Ngoma and Nakaseke district, which are not affected with the foot and mouth disease, as well as the new strain of Rift Valley fever observed in the mid-western districts of Uganda. In case of any smuggled livestock from the affected districts of Mbarara and Chiruhura, among others, into the Kampala markets, the chairman of Kampala City Abattoirs, Haj Jacob Muhammad Sekweyama, says there is a mechanism to detect them.
Alternatively, they are not fake in such a way that there is a number of roadblocks. For example, if the cows are coming from Masaka, by the time they reach here, at this area, they have been inspected like 4 times. Then you find that this is the last point where we also have people who have experience in seeing that the documentations are authentic, are not fake.
However, many of the abattoirs in Kampala are experiencing a low influx of livestock due to the declared COVID-19 partial lockdown that has affected inter-district cross-border movements. Leaders here say this is the biggest challenge at the moment, yet the demand is high.
Level of consumption have reduced tremendously, so we have low sales actually.
However, the ban does not only affect the sales of beef, but also pork, mutton, and goat's meat from the affected districts of Mbarara, Chiruhura, Isingilo, Ibanda, and Tungamo areas. Jane Nyiramugisha, Nantongo Irene, UBC News.
And now into sports. Officials from the Ministry of Education and Sports, led by Commissioner Omala Apita, have inspected the construction works at Nachibuwo Stadium. A proposed state-of-the-art facility is being constructed by Hamis Chigundu, who is optimistic the first phase will be ready in less than 2 years. We have the details.
Construction works to upgrade Nachivubo War Memorial to a world-class stadium is at 48%. The stadium will be in 3 phases. as explained by project manager Aine Ashaba.
We are close to the end of phase 1. Phase 1 includes the pavilion stands on ground floor and the mezzanine. And this goes all around the stadium. It also includes the foundation works for the artificial turf and a few mechanical electrical installations. Phase 2 will include the second pavilion stands and part of the ticketing systems that will be installed in phase 2.
During an inspection tour to monitor progress, Minister of Education and Sports Commissioner Omala Apita has left impressed.
This is good progress. I was saying since we last came here, there's been a lot of progress, considerable progress. So what we need to see is that there is progress, there's work going on. And we shall be coming regularly to come and see the progress as it is. So we are pleased with the progress, and we shall continue to come also to encourage them to bring up the stadium.
The stadium proprietor Hamiski Gundu allays the fears of Ugandans on quality and timely delivery.
We have standards provided by FIFA, like the sizes of the stadium. Ours is 68 meters by 105 meters. The turf we are going to use an artificial turf, the best of the quality there is on the market today. So we hope to provide the best of standards. Like I've told you, it's seating 35,000 people. It is also within the guidelines of FIFA that it has to sit quite a large number like that. So about quality, we are following the international standards.
He further clarifies on source of funding for this stadium that has caused hullabaloo amongst members of the public.
Please, just know it that this is a privately funded stadium. I have no single coin from government towards this construction.
Nachivo Stadium is one of 4 sports infrastructure that government plans to deliver to Ugandans. The others are the National High Altitude Training Center in Teriet, Akibwa Stadium in Lera, and Buhinga Stadium in Kabarore District. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Well, we do appreciate your company this lovely evening on UBC News Tonight. Do enjoy more of our programming. I'm Loreen, Masika, Kazimoto, and Elizabeth Nakakoni. We wish you a lovely night.
Beyond Beauty Parlor and Spa, your beautification destination. We believe in suitable beauty. We offer pedicure and manicure, makeup, hairstyling, plating, weaving, dreadlocks, massage, waxing, facial and body scrub, name it. We also offer additional services like honeymoon packages, hiring venues, and vehicles for brides and grooms. Training interns from different beauty schools. We are located on Uganda House, ground floor 5. Call to book for your appointment on 0702-645-015 or 0414-696-229. You can WhatsApp us on 0752-645-005. Email us Beyond Beauty Parlor and Spa at yahoo.com.
The family of Mr. and Mrs. Alunyu Frederick Ogwal of Gulu City, with deep sorrow, announces the untimely death of their father Alunyu Frederick Ogwal, who passed away on 8th June 2021 from St. Martha's Hospital, Lakar, Gulu. Mr. Frederick Alunyu Ogwal was a retired civil servant, politician, and a banker. He will be buried scientifically following the SOPs put in place by the government of the Republic of Uganda on the 19th June 2021 at his ancestral home in Omunya Ward, Adieda Parish, Bobi Sub-County, Moroto District off the Gulu-Kampala Highway. Informed are the Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, members of Parliament, political and religious leaders, Major General Ben Francis Okello, the board, staff and management of UBC, the staff and management of Gulu High School, the staff and management of Gulu University, the staff and management of Sacred Hearts Minor Seminary, Lakar, the staff and management of World University Service of Canada, Uganda, the staff and management of Molago Hospital, the staff and management of Christ the King Teachers College, Gulu, the board staff and management of Centenary Bank, the staff and management of DFCU Bank, relatives, friends, and in-laws. May his soul rest in eternal peace.